One of the pieces of software that you're going to need to download in order to be able to write Java programs and keep up with us in this course is the Java Development Kit, or JDK for short. There are quite a few different versions of the JDK depending on what you're going to be using Java for, what sort of environment you're running in, what platform you're running on, and so on. So let's make sure that you can select the correct one so you can get to work right away. You're going to need to follow the link that I've provided in the Lesson 1.b block that says Java Development Kit Download. It will take you to a screen like the one that you're looking at right now in this video that's provided by Oracle, the owner of the Java language. Along the left, you see there are many different versions of Java things you can download. Java SE, Java EE, Java ME, and so on. What we want, and what you should be pointed to directly by following the link I gave you, is the Java Standard Edition, or SE, Development Kit version 7. That's the latest as of the time that I've made this video. I think it will be the latest as of the time you're watching this video. But if there is a later one, the link that I give you will probably point to a later one. So you're going to need to go to the Java SE Development Kit 7 Downloads. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that there is Java SE Development Kit, and then this is the version here, 7U45. Maybe it'll be U46, U47 by the time you download it, but this is the version as of the time that I'm doing this video. You're going to need to click on Accept the License Agreement in order to be able to download, and then you have to pick your platform. The ones that are most likely, that I'm thinking you're probably going to use, some of you are going to be on Macs, in which case you would pick this Mac OS version right here. Some of you are going to be running on Windows, and there's an awful lot of versions of Windows out there. Some of the Windows versions are 32-bit, some are 64-bit. In general, the older Windows versions are 32-bit. The newer ones are 64-bit. But you can't always tell just by knowing, am I running Windows Vista, or am I running Windows XP, or am I running Windows 7 or Windows 8? You're going to have to be able to figure out if you're running a 32-bit or a 64-bit. If you're running a 32-bit version of Windows, you download the Windows x86 version, which you get the second from the bottom on this list. If you're running a 64-bit version of Windows, those are the later ones, you would download this one. I've included a link on the list of links below that lets you tell if you're running a 32-bit or a 64-bit version of Windows. So make sure you check that. Or check with me during office hours, or post something on the discussion database so that you can get the right one. Then download the correct version, take the defaults for where to install it, and then come back and download Eclipse. Now that you've downloaded your Java Development Kit, or JDK, it's time to download the program called Eclipse. Eclipse is a big program provided for you for free by the Eclipse organization, which puts together an integrated development environment, or IDE, that's used by a lot of both hobbyists and professional programmers to develop programs in various languages, Java being one of them. We're going to go to the eclipse.org website. I've given you the link for it, and you can see it on your screen right now, so that we can download the proper version of Eclipse. We want the Eclipse standard version. It should be the one that's available right on the top of this page. The Eclipse standard version, notice when I hover over it, it tells me that it's got everything you need to debug Java, including a bunch of other things with acronyms that you don't know about yet. We have to pick the right version, either for Windows, or for Linux, or for Mac. So let's say you're on Windows. You have to remember, if you're doing 32-bit or 64-bit Windows, and just like you had to check for the JDK, if you aren't certain, use the link that I've provided to find out if you're a 32-bit or a 64-bit Windows installation. Pick the appropriate one, click on it to download. It'll take a while to download. This is a pretty big program. Go ahead and download it, take the defaults for where it's going to install it, and then open up Eclipse for the first time, whether you're on Windows or whether you're on Linux or whether you're on the Mac. And on the Mac, you'll have to figure out if you're 32-bit or 64-bit. So, go ahead, download Eclipse, and then come back to this video and we'll look at what Eclipse looks like after you've first downloaded it. Okay, now that you have downloaded Eclipse, run Eclipse. Find where you downloaded it. You should have it in your list of program files. Maybe you have a shortcut already installed on your desktop. Go ahead and run it. You should get something that looks like what you're looking at on the screen right now. Welcome to the Eclipse IDE for Java developers, or some other welcome to Eclipse. It gives you a bunch of little icons here, an overview, a what's new, a samples, a tutorials, and a workbench. We're going to spend all of our time in the workbench. You may want to look at some of the tutorials if you get stuck doing something with Eclipse. But we're going to do an awful lot of things in this course from the workbench. So go ahead and click on that. When you click on the workbench, you're going to get something that looks like this. And we are going to set up our workspace to be a folder that we're going to use all the time. We'll only need to do this once, so let's do it right now. Click on File, Switch Workspace. And I'll pick other. You notice I've got an awful lot of them that I've set up in the past. And you can either browse to a place to put it in or type in a folder, just any folder that you've got write access to. And it will stop Eclipse and start it again. Now notice that the screen has shown something else in the background. Depending on what you're running on your screen, you'll see something else. But Eclipse is going to come up again for a second time. This time, it's going to come up, let's see, let's get it in the right space so you can see what's happening. You should get Eclipse looking like this, where you don't have these packages set up yet, the projects that you've created, but you should see a section on the left, a section in here where we'll write our code. Down here we'll see our error messages and so on. So if you got that far, you've installed Eclipse correctly. Go ahead and move on to the next lesson. If you didn't get that far, you're going to need to troubleshoot why your Eclipse didn't work. So go ahead and check some Eclipse websites, try your installation again, or get in touch with me through the help discussion database or an email, and I'll get back with you as soon as I can.